and welcome back to another episode of 10-Sided Dice on WTEN Plus. I am the host, Jackson Tollerton. I'm a digital producer here and the Dungeon Master for our game of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. If you've joined us on the show before, we have a variety of guests and adventures that we do here. We are doing a continuation. We're doing a part 4 of a previous adventure, Adventure in the Dark Forest, and returning is my guest and a familiar face, my dad, Len Tollerton.
Hey,
Hi, Pop.
how are you?
What's going on? Welcome back.
Good to see you.
So a little bit of a summary of the adventure so far. Our hero, Chibi Chung, played by Len here, is an adventurer who's been looking for work. He stopped into the town of Glen Hollow. After making a few acquaintances at the Big Boar Inn, Chibi learned that the local baron, whose name is Herman Huxley, is looking for someone to deal with an owl bear that's recently attacked travelers on the road. Owl bears are these large beasts, kind of the size of like a huge grizzly bear, but with feathers and features like an owl, a little bit of a strong beak and talons on the thing, a huge monstrosity.
But they can't fly, right?
They can't fly. Thankfully, for most people, they can't fly because that would be terrifying. Having like a bear just descend upon you from the skies. So he's been looking the Baron has been looking for somebody to deal with this owl bear. Can't be having travelers attacked on the trade road. And your character, Chibi Chung, was directed to meet with Bertrand, an older ranger living just outside the town's outskirts who has been tracking the beast for some time. You and Bertrand worked together and made your way to this glade where you found this owl bear, this large beast kind of prowling around erratically, making kind of random movements and kind of this weird kind of hybrid howl growl, hoot growl that could be heard echoing throughout the woods, the dark forest. You guys approached this cave and saw that this owl bear, seeming from afar to be a bit sickly, is prowling in front of this cave front, and you guys discovered that there was a couple of owl bear eggs that this beast has been protecting in its cave. As you were getting closer to this bear, you came across a dwarven poacher, a hunter named Gerald, and his wolf companion that was trying to, whose name was Poochie, I believe. The Gerald and Poochie were trying to sneak into the cave and steal the owl bear eggs while the owl bear was kind of disoriented.
Right.
You guys had done a little bit of, particularly Chibi Chung, I believe, had done a little bit of work during the approach and found that the owl bear had some kind of broken off crossbow bolt into it that seemed to be, the wound around the bolt seemed to be seeping with this like dark liquid. You guys kind of surmised that someone or something had poisoned the owl bear, and that's why it's been acting erratically, and that's why it's been kind of misbehaving and from its regular kind of patterns and going away from the woods and onto the road and attacking travelers. Well, it just so happens that the villain returned to the scene of the crime, this poacher Gerald carrying a heavy crossbow as he got caught by you guys trying to sneak in and get the eggs. Upon confronting Gerald, the poacher, the owl bear was disturbed, and we went into a pretty intense battle with both you, the owl bear, Bertrand, your ranger companion, Gerald, the poacher, and his wolf Poochie. Lots of stuff happened in the battle. The owl bear has taken out 2 of the combatants. The owl bear approached and attacked Bertrand, your old ranger friend, who was basically dropped in a clump by this owlbear and is kind of in death-saving throes right now, fighting for his life as this like 2-ton thing with claws and a beak came down on him. I will have to double check, but some combo of some fighting from Chibi and some fighting from the owlbear defeated Poochie, the wolf, as well. The only people that were left standing were you and the poacher and the owlbear. The poacher, seeing an opportunity, decided that the eggs were not worth it in this moment and tried to dart away from the fight. As he was leaving, he got pecked by the big heavy beak by the owlbear, which clipped the poacher's side and also tore his satchel. You saw a few items fall from the satchel, and obviously some blood kind of came from him, heavy wound, but he was able to kind of dart out of the area of the glade, leaving you face to face with the owlbear. You're kind of Chibi is when we last left him is kind of semi in between he's like equidistant between Bertrand on his left, the cave front with the eggs on his right, and also the items that have fallen out of the pouch of the poacher. And in front of him is this snarling owlbear who has kind of stopped attacking for a moment, but is eyeing you cautiously. So that is a big ol' recap of where we've left off in our adventure. So Chibi at the cave front, lots going on. No, not out of the woods yet. No pun intended. What would you like to do?
Well, at this point, if I believe my sword is still out, so I'm going to put my sword away and back away from the owlbear. If the owlbear does not pursue me, then what I'm going to do is go over to Bertrand and try to do a bind on him so he doesn't just die.
Croak, yeah, right, I like it. I need you to roll. We're going to roll 2 rolls here. The first one is going to be, I'm going to call I'll give you the choice. It depends on which one's higher for you. And one might be a little bit of a stretch, but I think it works here. The first one is your choice of either an animal handling check or a persuasion check to kind of back away from the owlbear without provoking it further.
Okay.
I'll give you the choice of which one ever's higher.
Okay, since the bonus for animal handling is wisdom, and that's a little bit higher for me than charisma from persuasion.
Yep.
I'm going to do it with an animal handling check.
All righty, let's see it.
That's a 12 plus 2 is 14.
14, animal handling, love it. Let me roll for the owlbear back here. The owlbear seems like still on edge, and you can see as you start to back away, it would take a single bound from this thing to close the gap with you, and you notice that like any like fast movements right now will provoke this thing's ire toward you, you know. But with a 14, you kind of like give enough like body language to it that it opts to not just pounce on you right now, and rather you can see it start to like head back into this like hazy malaise of this poison that's coursing through it.
Right.
You have stayed, your execution for a moment, and you're going to head back to Bertrand slowly and try and dress his wound.
Correct.
Okay, so you head over to Bertrand. You see him. He is like fully unconscious at this point. He's kind of making like old man groaning noise.
Yes.
This is it. And then he's like holding his hand where he was last slashed and pecked by the owlbear. You see that like kind of butting out of his pouch, he has a couple of like bandages that you can probably snap off and try and close what you can. But he's hurt pretty bad. Go ahead, and this is going to be a medicine check.
Okay. I have a question in that I don't have any in my possession, but if I look through Bertrand's pack, does he have any healing potions?
Oh, good question. You know what? You kind of go to dig through, and you find that he has like, I'm gonna call it like a healing shot. He's got like this very small vial. It looks, most healing potions you've seen are like, 8 ounces or more kind of thing.
Right.
This looks like a 2-ounce little healing potion shot.
Okay. What I'm going to do first is bind his wounds.
Okay.
And with whatever bandages are in there that I can, with what limited ability that I have, I'll bind him up. Hopefully he'll stop bleeding. And then at the end of that, I'll try to, if he hasn't woken up, I'll try to at least pour some of this liquid down his throat. Hopefully he'll swallow it and not choke it up.
Love it. Okay, let's go for it. This is going to be a medicine check.
Oh.
Is that what I thought it was?
It was. It was a natural 1.
A natural 1. Oh, no. Here's what happens. Chibi Chung's a fighter rogue. He's an adventurer. He's usually doing the damage doing, not so much the healing of wounds. He grabs the bandages. He finds this little healing potion shot, and he starts to go in for this nursing of this wound. And he realizes within seconds, he's way over his head as far as like how to do this, but he sees this old man kind of like dying before him and gives it a shot. You kind of like press the bandage down to try and like stop the bleeding and like don't really know your own strength and end up like shoving the bandage into the wound, and you see him like come up from unconsciousness wide open like, that's not helping, and he kind of like falls back into unconsciousness, and you kind of like drop the gauze and stop any further damage from him as you kind of like touch into his insides, but you still have the healing potion shot.
Are the bandages like in a roll? Is it possible I can just roll it around him to bind him up as opposed to pressing in on the wound?
Yeah, you start to like try and like close it around him, and you see him like twist and like shake as you are able to just do enough to stop like the excess bleeding. You know that he's gonna need to fix the bandage or
have a surgeon.
Right. Exactly.
All right, then I'll pour the liquid into his throat at this point.
You give him back. Go ahead and roll me a D4.
Uno.
1. You give him back 1 point of healing, which 2 ones, which is just enough to stabilize him. Okay. You see that he like you said, he definitely will need like a cleric or a surgeon at some point, but he is stable. He will be, after some rest, will probably be able to make the trip back without problem. But he kind of you kind of like pour it down his throat, and you see he kind of like exhales and feels a little bit of relief and kind of goes back out again, but you know that he's not bleeding out anymore. You kind of like turn as you hear like a thumping press of body as this owlbear continues to kind of like make its rounds around the outside of this cave front, looking for another Gerald or another wolf, seemingly ignoring you at this time.
I am going to pull Bertrand away from the circle a little bit. And then I don't have anything else with me to help the owlbear.
Go ahead and, as you're pulling Bertrand along a little bit out of range, go ahead and roll. This is going to be a perception check.
That is a total of 8.
8. You can't make out anything in particular, but as the kind of like sun starts to set and the glade gets a little bit darker, you can see a glint of like some shining baubles from the pouch where the poacher's bag was slashed. You would need to do another basically animal handling check to approach those without the owlbear thinking that you're going for the eggs. But you could go toward it and see if he dropped anything.
At this point, because I can't help the owlbear, and because I don't want to infuriate the owlbear because I have no reason to want to fight it, I'm going to leave those there. I'm going to leave those there. Maybe Gerald will come back and try to take them, and the owlbear can get them. Or, maybe I can go back another time after I get Bertrand back to town. That is my main concern at this point. So I'm looking around. I'm thinking about what can I do here, and I kind of accept somewhat of a defeat, and I'm going to try to put Bertrand up on my shoulder to carry him back to town. I don't remember how far it was, but obviously I'll have to take several rests carrying another human.
Yeah, sure.
For if it's a mile, that's not an easy thing, and I don't think my strength is that much.
Okay, as you go ahead and that's where we'll start. Go ahead and roll me. This is going to be an athletics check to start carrying Bertrand.
13.
Nice. Yeah, he's not like heavy enough to cause you too much trouble. You're able to kind of like put him over your shoulder, but like you said, the weight of it is going to slow you down. And you do start to like slowly move away from the owlbear going, hey, listen, we gave it a shot. Didn't really work. And we're trying to leave here with our lives. As you start to like pick him up and go, you hear like this like gurgle from the owlbear, and it lets out this, and you hear a heavy as this thing just collapses to the ground. And it's kind of like four limbs are like out, like splooted out, and it is clearly unconscious. You see some like light breathing from this, but this thing appears to be succumbing to its poison.
All right. Seeing that, I'm going to think for a bit, and then I'm going to gently put Bertrand on the ground. I'm going to go running back over to the owlbear, turn it over to, if the wound is accessible,
Yeah.
I want to see about getting that arrow out, and
Sure.
maybe, if nothing else, getting some of that poison out of it.
Sure. As you get closer to it, go ahead, and now that you're closer, go ahead and roll me a perception check with advantage. So that's going to be twice. Take the higher of the two.
I'll just stop there. I just rolled a 19.
19, okay.
Plus my
Cool.
bonus.
You get to the owlbear. You see that this broken crossbow bolt is still kind of buried in its belly. You're now probably like 5 feet away from where the satchel was ripped open, and you see three things. Three things kind of stick out. First of all, you see like a pouch that seems to have like some kind of heft to it. You can see like it's like robust kind of like sides, like something's almost, it's filled with something. And then you see two glass vials. One you recognize as a one appears to be empty, and one appears to be like this like thin light purple liquid inside.
Okay, so having seen that color in the wound of the owlbear when we first came up, that it's purple, I'm going to assume that is some kind of poison, and I don't think I should be pouring it down the owlbear's throat. Yeah,
right. Sorry, I misspoke. The one vial is filled with like this like purple, and then the other is filled with like a dark green liquid. I don't know why I said empty.
Oh, okay. Dark green.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking that the purple is still the poison. So I think what I'll do then is, what do I have to lose at this point? And the owlbear seems to be dying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour a little bit of that into the wound.
The green liquid?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to pour some of the, if I can get the thing to swallow, I'll pour some into its throat.
Okay. As you grab that vial and you start to go over, do you take the bolt out, or do you just kind of cover its wound for now?
No, I said I'm going to try to pull it out.
Pull it out, yeah. Okay. You go to pull the bolt out. You have this like green liquid at the ready, having recognized the purple poison from the wound, and you go to give this shot to save this owl bear. So this is a big moment of the session here. This is gonna be, I'm gonna give you the choice again. It might be similar stats. The owl bear is out cold, or it seems, very close to. You have full access to its wound, and you have this bottle of what you're hoping to be some kind of antidote to the poison. We're going to kind of go one fell swoop here of either animal handling or medicine to both remove the wound and then follow it up with like a flush of the antidote.
Okay, both medicine and animal handling are wisdom checks.
Okay.
So I guess it really doesn't matter too much, right?
Yeah, unless he's like
I'll try the medicine check.
All right, I love it.
All right, that's 15 plus 2 is 17.
Boom, boom. You pull the bolt out and see that it's almost like starting to like rust. It's been in there for probably a few days, and like between like its own like liquids inside is starting to go. You discard the bolt and you follow it up with this flush of this antidote. Thanks to your high check, you're able to get almost every drop of the antidote into this like gaping wound. You also are able to like turn and duck away as the owl bear like kicks out a foot out of like pain that probably would have like been like a donkey kick and like sent you across the glade. You avoid, you kind of like hang on and like, hold on and pour this wound, this antidote in, and within minutes you see like fizzing at the wound, and you see it start to slowly close, and the owl bear's eye, like big yellow eye, kind of like shoots open and like looks right at you in its eye, and you immediately see like what you would see from like a pet bird or like a dog or like a cat. You see like thankful, calm recognition as you fix its injury, and you see that like kind of like wild glare that it had when you first entered the glade appears to be gone. It's like slowly starts to like lift itself up off of its off its back and onto all four legs, and it just kind of like looks at you and like puts its head down and starts, and like a big bear just like nuzzles into like your chest as like a thank you.
I put my hand out and touch the owlbear's head, kind of petting it, if you will, ruffling the feathers and all. And as I pull back away, I bow towards it, and I go walking back towards Bertrand.
Yeah, you hear it kind of give you one of those like chirp growls, and it's you see it turn and go back and like sit by and nuzzle around its two eggs in the cave. You as you get back to Bertrand, he's like starting to like wake up, and he looks at you and he says, "Did I miss anything?"
Not after you got knocked unconscious by the owl bear, no.
Right. Well, looks like you took care of it all. Good work, son. Let's head back to town. Get you paid.
Before we do, I got to pick up one thing that I forgot, and I'm going to go running back, and I'm going to pick up the vial of poison, and I'm going to pick up the pouch.
Nice. Yeah. You pick up the pouch. You pick up the poison. You and Bertrand start heading back to Glen Hollow. It takes you about like 90 minutes of walk, I would say. Get back early evening.
He's able to walk that far?
It takes you guys closer to like 2 hours of having to go this slow with him. But he's able to hold it together. Along probably like 20 minutes out from Glen Hollow, he kind of looks at you and he says, You're not going to tell anybody I got knocked out by the bear, are you?"
I don't have any need to. No, this is between you and me.
Good man. Good man. And he kind of takes you back to the town's keep, and you're surprised to find that the Baron himself, Herman Huxley, and a couple of his guards are waiting for you guys in his like main chamber, and he says, "Ah, gentlemen, I was told by my guards that you had returned to town, and well, you seem mostly in one piece. Is the problem quelled? Has the beast been slain?"
The beast, Sir Baron, has not been slain. The beast was being attacked by a poacher in order to steal its eggs. The poacher poisoned the owlbear, and because of that, the owlbear started really going kind of crazy. We were able to deal with the poacher. He left the area and luckily dropped some of this antidote to his poison, and we were able to heal the owlbear. I don't believe the owlbear will be bothering the town anymore as long as the poachers leave the owlbear's eggs alone and the owlbear itself. I believe that the real problem is the poachers, and maybe the town, or you, Sir Baron, should send somebody to patrol the area to make sure that the owlbear is left alone.
Well, this is quite a development. You have done not only well for our town, but you have protected nature in doing so. And make no mistake, I will be putting a bounty out for such poaching, and will make sure that the glade remains undisturbed. Because if this owlbear has been cured, then I believe, like you said, our roads will likely be returning to safety as well. And he like has one of his guards like take the satchel and the potion, like the bottles that you found, and says, "We will do some digging around and see if we can't find this fellow of yours that you ran into. What did you say he looked like?"
He was a dwarf, bald, bearded.
Kind of sounds like me. Well, all right. We will look for a dwarven poacher and with that description, and make sure that he is brought to justice.
Outside the game itself, player to DM.
Sure.
What was in the pouch? Coins?
He does, as those things are kind of taken, you see them kind of look around and look, and there was gold in the pouch, and the Baron says, well, we don't need this as much as you do, and he throws you the pouch, and you grab it, and there's about 150 gold pieces in there.
All right.
Okay, consider it just the first of many thank yous for what you've done here. And you see like a sly wink from Bertrand back your way, and he looks and says, "All right, kid, I'm gonna go get a nap." And you hold the coins and realize that Chibi Chung has done some good here today in Glen Hollow. And
I do realize that. However, I didn't get paid by the town. The town owes me some gold. I didn't have to bring this pouch back to them.
Yeah. Do you address that?
I do.
Yeah.
I said, not for nothing, but the town owes me some money. and this pouch here is found treasure, which you said anything I found I could keep.
The Baron and the guards kind of like look at each other and look back at you and he says, "You're a smart one, very good. Fair is fair. You're right." He says, "Steward, make sure to double everything that is found in his pouch at the very least." And that is going to bring us to the end of our adventure with Chibi Chung. Pop, thank you so much for joining. It's been a great journey. And thank you all for tuning in. It's been 10-Sided Dice, and we will see you all next time.